I was browsing Pinterest last night for some DIY craft ideas, right? I stumbled upon these mini wooden eco-friendly planters that reminded me of your workspace, always brimming with adorable succulents. Now, I've added that to my project list, so remind me to share the pictures once it's done. Speaking of eco-friendly and sustainable, I attended a seminar today on the same subject. It was enlightening to see so many like-minded individuals under one roof, all eager to contribute to a greener planet. The bonus was meeting Katsumi. Yeah, the one we always look up to for their avant-garde designs. We had a great chat, and I think there's a solid chance for future collaborations. Have you met Kyo's latest culinary invention? Tofu and omuricha. Sounds unconventional, right? But after hearing his enthusiasm, I'm thinking of giving it a shot this weekend. Who knows? Maybe it turns out to be the next big thing in the food world. Did you know Midori joked about patenting it before Kyo? Well, our casual chit-chat ended in all three of us planning a virtual cooking and art session this Sunday. I can't wait to cook Kyo's dishes and watch Mid sketch them simultaneously. Something like a virtual food art marathon. Sounds fun, doesn't it? Oh, and Midori said she saw a dog that looked like an alpaca today. Yes, you heard that right. Isn't it wild? We're truly living in a world where we haven't seen it all yet. By the way, have you watched the new episode of Abstract: The Art of Design? It has some real gems for design inspiration. You remember how Kyo had suggested me to sketch his homemade udon, right? How adventurous that idea is, I thought. And speaking of sketching, today I attended a botanical drawing class. It was such a warm environment, everyone sharing a common fondness for plants and art. Guess what I sketched? My orchids. I must say it was serenity encapsulated, and time full of tranquility and self-contentment. There was some initial nervousness, but as soon as the pencil hit the paper, the world around me blurred out. It was just me, my orchids, and the quiet scratching sound of the pencil. To be candid, it really was a kind of meditation that calmed the buzzing thoughts in my mind. I had a classmate, Ella, whom I got acquainted with. She seemed to have a pretty decent sketching hand as well. Later, I shared the day's experience with Midori and Kyo. Instantly, a spontaneous plan was hatched for a virtual sketching and dining session. Quite a fun idea, isn't it? I am genuinely looking forward to our next group date. And if Kyo makes his renowned udon, then it's going to be fantastic. I'm thinking of sketching more of my homegrown green buddies. Maybe it can be a nice little project. Sketching the greens or probably botanical art from home. What do you think? On a side note, during the class, drawing the intricate patterns of orchids made me appreciate their uniqueness even more. It's fascinating how every single flower or leaf has its own character. Makes me think, isn't nature the greatest artist? Also, the other day during my jog, I saw this kid attempting to ride a bike without training wheels. He fell a couple of times, got back up, and started pedaling again. The determination in his eyes, it was honestly inspiring. Life lessons can crop up from the simplest of situations, right? Well, need to sort out some work before hitting the bed. I'll tell you more about the class and the future projects tomorrow. And yes, don't forget about our planned sketch-off. I've had a day filled with culture and heritage. I found myself strolling around the traditional Bukchon Hanok village, admiring the beauty of quintessential Korean architecture. The weather was perfect. A soft warmth was present in the November air, enhancing the charm of the village. The Hanok houses were a reflection of our rich history, and I was truly lost in their architectural intricacy. Guess what? My photography skills were put to the test as I was trying to capture the grandeur of those houses. Now, when I think about it, I feel I could have done a better job sketching them. Somehow, the handheld frame of a sketch allows capturing the smallest details. As I was telling this to Midori and Kiyoshi suggested the idea of having a Hanok house's sketch-off next time. The very idea got Mid excited, and as usual, she was pumped up to beat Kyo. All this while, I'm sitting here laughing at their usual competitive camaraderie. By the way, you remember Kyo's most mentioned cuisine, right? His renowned miso soup. Today he drew us into craving it, imagining ourselves sitting in Tokyo around a warm dining table, with him serving us his home-cooked meal. I swear, every time he mentions his soup, my taste buds start tingling with the very thought. As the conversation ended, we were left dreaming of Kyo's mouth-watering spicy salmon roll in the melody of Mid's piano tunes. It's amazing how food connects hearts and miles. Leaving the comforts of the chat box aside, the trip to the village was a real rejuvenating break from routine. Amidst the rush of design drafts and 3D models, the calmness of the village was very much needed. Being there, I could sense the peace that traditional architecture imbibed. It was like time stood still for a while, to appreciate the beauty and heritage we come from. You know, this got me reflecting on how architecture is not just about designing buildings, but also about curating memories, culture, and history. The village was so full of stories if only the walls could talk. Looking back, my trip really was a lesson on the importance of cultural heritage in most subtly beautiful ways. Apart from all this, I need to start preparing for our virtual sketch-off. The thought of sketching keeps my imagination running wild, and it's something I really look forward to. Makes me excited just thinking about it. Here we are already planning another weekend together. Every day, no matter how taxing, seems to have its own way of ending on a high note, don't you think?